and welcome to the second episode of the second season of the PrincipalED podcast. I'm so excited. We have a very special episode today. It's all about boarding life at Branksome, and I've invited some experts to speak to you today, none other than our incredible boarding students. And we're so excited for you to learn a little bit more about what does it really mean to be a boarding student? What are the highs? What are the lows? What's the real life of boarding? So that's what we're going to be diving into today. And it's my pleasure to introduce you to some pretty amazing kids. I'm going to let them share their names, how long they've been at Branksome, how long they've been at boarding, and where they're from.
My name is Angel. I've been in boarding for 4 years, so since grade 7, and I'm from Branksome, Ontario.
My name is Kaitlyn. I've been at Branksome for 6 years, but boarding for 3 years, and I'm from Toronto.
Hi, my name is Arham. This is my second year in boarding, and I live in Saudi Arabia.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Well, I have some questions. What do you think? Should we just dive right in? Okay, perfect. So I teased you and said we were going to ask a quantum physics question first. So I'm going to send that over to you. Is that okay, Angel?
Sure.
No, you're not teasing. So please don't do it. That was a joke. Okay, the first question that I think our community would really love to learn about is what surprised you about boarding when you first arrived? And how has that changed now that you're a more experienced boarder?
I feel like when I was first applying to Branksome, I did a lot of research into it, obviously. And I was looking at the website, and I read all the handbooks, I read all of the schedules and everything, and I was honestly terrified.
You read it and you were thinking, oh, this seems really rigid.
Yeah, like everything was planned out for you for like to a T.
Right.
Like say not 7 to 10 p.m. at night, but more like 7 to 9 p.m. you had to study.
Yeah,
From
you're adding some creative
5:45
license. I like it.
To 6:45, you had to go to dinner. Like everything was just so rigid, and
Right.
I felt like I was gonna have a hard time being myself in an environment where everything was planned out for me.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came to boarding, I realized that that is not the case at all, and that you have a lot of creative freedom in how you want to express yourself and how you want to spend your day. So like, for example, if you don't have as much work to do at night, you can spend time with your friends watching a movie in the common room or making cookies and things like that.
Right, or going to get, you call it your little nightly sweet treat.
Oh yes, I love day with sweet treat at night.
I know you
because
do.
I can't go without my little dose of sugar, but there's a great bubble tea place near here, so sometimes we'll just walk over and grab some bubble tea at night.
Yeah, because we're so close. I mean, Bloor Street is literally, how many minutes is it to get to Bloor? 2 minutes?
2 minutes, just across the bridge.
Right, so you go get your sweet treat, the bubble tea. What else? What's Saturday look like?
Saturdays are different. For me, I go home sometimes because I don't see my family as often. But
And your family lives close by.
yeah, they do. But for people who are in boarding, and I stay for some weekends as well, we have events planned. So a few weeks ago we did treetop trekking, and this weekend we're going to the St. Lawrence Market. So we just have sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're smaller events that if you don't have anything to do on the weekend, you can just sign up and have fun with your friends.
So you can opt in, opt out.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to stay at home and just have a lazy day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also, during brunch, will open the gym. So if you want to go work out or if you want to just have a lazy, stay in bed all day kind of day, then you can also do that.
It's awesome. Thank you so much. I think that's important for people to hear, especially people who, like you, who are looking at the program and looking at the schedule and thinking it's one thing. And then it's good to hear that actually there's a lot of freedom for you to be able to do what you want and make your own schedule.
Yeah.
That's so good to hear. I would love to hear about a moment in boarding that really made you feel like you were connected to the community.
I feel like for me, when I first joined boarding, like I was really nervous, especially being like one of the youngest people in the house. I was just like, oh, like everyone's so much older than me. They've all been here for so long. Like, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And so I remember grade 7, it was me and the other grade 7 in boarding. And we were talking to some of the older students in the BAs, and we're like, how do we wear our uniform? Like, what's the middle school schedule? Like, what's homeroom and all of this stuff? And one of the grade 10s at the time had told us, oh, go and grab your uniforms and I'll show you how to put it on. So we put on our uniform, and then she helped us tie our ties and like pull up our socks and know how to wear the uniform for the proper days, what Fit Friday is. And I feel like that just made me feel like really at home and like loved by a community, because it was like the first time that I'm starting to bond with people I look at as my older sisters.
Yeah, like big sister's taking care of you. Oh, I really love that. Let's shout her out. Who was it?
Her name is Mimi.
Mimi.
Maybe.
Oh, we miss you, Mimi. If you're watching, we miss you. I love that. And just imagining you coming in as an 11-year-old, Angel, and walking in and seeing these big sisters, older kids. It must have felt exciting and also maybe a little bit intimidating. What's that feel like?
I think for me it was a bit intimidating because I was also the youngest person in boarding. So it's like seeing everyone with their established friend groups, they already know what's going on, like they already know the program, like how everything works, the schedule and everything. So it was really intimidating at the time, but it's also like everyone was so welcoming that like after a while you kind of get over that fear and like you're integrated into that community. So
Yeah, I love that. I think it's so important, such an important part of boarding. And I'm sure that people who are listening who don't maybe know a lot about what it's like to be a boarder might not understand what that might feel like to walk in and be new and just be curious about how is this all going to work. Hey, you said BA was there. I don't know if people will know what that means. Can you tell our listeners what's a BA?
so a BA is a boarding advisor, and they're like kind of like the teacher in boarding. They're just like the adult, the supervisor there. And then they're also kind of just there as like a family member. I consider them family. Like they're there to help you with anything, whether that's like you're baking cookies, you need help with your laundry, you need help with your art homework, just like stuff like that. Or they're just like someone you can talk to. Like if you're having school problems, if you're having home problems, like just someone you can always reach out to.
I love that. And thank you so much for sharing that, Angel. When I first came to Branksome, the boarding community, I was so excited to meet the boarding students because I was coming from an international background, and not all of our boarding students are coming from an international background, but some are. And I felt at home with the boarding community. And it was one of the first groups that really made me feel like I belonged in boarding and I belonged at Branksome. And it was wonderful. I go over and play mahjong at night. And I know you guys like Maggie and love to bring Maggie over. She's far more popular than I am, but it's great to have that time with you guys. And I was really blown away by how it really feels like a family, but I also know it's not always rainbows and butterflies. And I would love to hear about, like, it's got ups and downs. So boarding life is up and down, just like real life is. What are some of the challenges that you have faced? Maybe some of the biggest challenges, and what's helped you through it?
I feel like one of the biggest challenges for me personally was homesickness and not having like my own space to like feel emotions, cry.
Right.
But I feel like honestly having a roommate really helped me through it. Like
Right.
it helped me like realize that being vulnerable is okay because I'm in a new environment and it's okay to feel sad and miss my family.
Yeah.
And I love my roommate so much. We're like best friends now.
Besties.
We've like cried together over things. Like I think just having a roommate was one of the best things ever that happened to me.
Yeah.
It really allowed me to be myself, and I feel like a roommate kind of pushes you to like study as well, to like be a nicer person in general, because I feel like you learn so much from them.
Yeah.
And she really just like helped me get adjusted like through all of my lows. She was always there for me, and I think it was really nice.
I love that. I think, and you guys are just so close, like sisters. But I know it couldn't have always been easy,
Yeah.
right? Coming in and having a roommate for the first time, it couldn't have been smooth. How did it go at the beginning? Was it hard to get used to?
At the beginning, it was kind of hard because sometimes you have like different sleep patterns than someone, different
Right.
like study patterns, because some people like to study out loud, but some people need to study in silence, or some people study in the night, and some people study like right after school.
Right.
So it's like really hard. Like you have to really set down rules with your roommate to say when you're gonna study, when you're gonna sleep, just to make sure you guys are on the same page. Because like at the end of the day, it's both of your guys' room, it's both of your like home away from home. So you need to feel at home and you need to feel comfortable.
I feel like that experience would make you elevate your communication when you might not have had to do that before, because you're stepping into conversations with someone that maybe you don't want to have right away, but you kind of have to make sure that there's harmony in the living space. Was that hard? Because I think if you're a person who's more of an introvert or you avoid conflict, that could be really challenging.
Yes, I feel like definitely there were some moments where I like stayed quiet when I shouldn't have. Even if it wasn't with my roommate, if it was with someone else on boarding being like really loud or like just not treating me the way I should have been treated,
Right.
I stayed quiet. And sometimes I do regret it, and I thought it was really hard overcoming that. But I think overcoming it really helped me. Like I feel like I'm mature enough. I can have conversations with my parents now, and even they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you've matured a lot." Like
Yeah.
before, you wouldn't talk to us like this. You would like either cry or scream. Now you like actually sit down and like talk to me like an adult about our problems.
I would love to hear about the different ways you've taken on leadership in boarding. And if anyone's watching, and if anyone's listening and watching on YouTube, they'll see that we've got some different variations of uniform. We have our traditional green uniform, then we have Kaitlyn in all red. And I want you to talk in a moment, Kaitlyn, about what does that symbolize and what is your leadership role. And then they're going to notice that Arham has a red tie, which also symbolizes something. And you have a particular leadership role in boarding as well. So let's start with you, Kaitlyn. Can you tell us a little bit about how have you taken on leadership in boarding and in the school? And tell us a bit about your uniform.
So it's a little bit hard to miss. I'm wearing a bright neon red uniform. But what the uniform or the red uniform signifies is your prefect. And here at Branksome, if you don't know what prefect is already, it's a group of around 12 girls who each have their own role, or what we call portfolio at Branksome. So they're leaders of their own group, and some of these portfolios include athletics or arts, and in my case, boarding.
Yeah, tell us, because it's kind of like leadership in each of those different areas. So
Yeah.
it's leadership of the athletics portfolio, or the well-being portfolio, or the boarding portfolio. So tell us a little bit about what's in your portfolio and what are you leading? What does your role do in terms of your boarding responsibilities?
So as boarding prefect, I have a lot of different responsibilities, and a lot of those are visual ones. So for me, that's things like planning events, whether that's inside of school or things to do on the weekend, or planning like the special dinners we have. We had Mid-Autumn Festival last week, and we have Diwali coming up next week. So dinners like that, or planning events with other schools. So reaching out to, say, UCC or BSS and talking to their prefects and seeing if there's any events they want to collab with.
Yeah.
So I do things like that, which are more visible to the community. But apart from what everyone sees, is I'm also a big role model for people in boarding. And me, along with the other grade 12s, we, as older students, and we kind of have a more firm grasp on how it is to live at Branksome, we like to give advice to the younger students, whether that means being there for them when they have a hard day or they're just missing their parents, or even just helping them out with their homework at night and anything they need, really, as Angel kind of touched on earlier.
Right.
And sometimes that means just going for a walk and getting Starbucks or getting bubble tea and just listening to them talk. And sometimes that means maybe helping them connect with a boarding advisor or with adults to talk about some of their problems that they may have so they can find solutions to them.
I love that. And it's so true with any leadership position that there's the part that everyone sees, and then there's the part that people don't see, and it's usually the more impactful part. Yeah, you did a great job. Thank you for explaining that for us, Kaitlyn. And Arham, I want to move on to you. You have a boarding leadership role that's very important as well. And maybe you could tell our viewers a little bit about your red tie. Why do you have a red tie?
So the red tie, all grade 12s have them, and it's a sign of leadership. Even though everyone in grade 12 doesn't have an appointed leadership role, it still means that we're all leaders. Because there's so many younger students in the school who look up to us as role models. So we have a responsibility of being kind, being on time, and just being a good role model overall. And making sure the school lives on kind of through us just by being that good role model.
I love that. We just had a big GY meeting, and we were taught GY for our listeners who might not know. It's our graduating year students. Some schools call them seniors, grads, we call them GYs. So we had our big GY meeting, and we were talking about how all of the students, even our SK students, pardon me, see the red tie, and they know that you are one of the leaders of the school, one of the role models, and how important it is that you are kind of acting in that role. And you guys have been doing an incredible job this year. So we're grateful for that, and we're so sad that you're going to be leaving us soon enough. Well, let's not talk about that right now. It'll be too sad. Tell us about your leadership role in boarding.
So in boarding, I'm head of house for one of the houses, Ainsley. And for that, what I do is basically I create a home away from home. Like, I try and actually make it feel like it is home. And I also try and make it feel like a family away from home, like your other family, because you can't have a home without a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so,
I love that.
yeah, one of the roles I do is I choose who's doing groceries. I help with groceries because in a family, everyone has their own responsibilities. Even though that we're not a blood family, we're still a family. So people do have to do groceries. You do have to remind them about doing laundry sometimes and like making sure they get it out the dryer on time and don't leave it in there for too long. And then you also just have to make sure everyone's comfortable, everyone's respecting each other and respecting the space we're in, like our house itself.
Yeah, there's so many dynamics, just like in a real family, right? Or a blood family, as you described it. There's so many dynamics that happen between people. And so it's so important that there's a leader of that house who's really got their eye on the balcony view of what's happening. I would love to hear, as experienced boarders now, why do you think other students should consider boarding, and how will they know if they're ready? How did you know you were ready?
Well, I think for me, you can never be 100% ready. Like, I think for anything, you can't be like 100% sure that you're ready for something. You kind of just like leap forward and you try. So, like, I think that really ties in with like the prefect model. You leap with love. So it's just like you just go for it, like try something new. Like, it just has to do with leap with love. Like, if you really love something, if you really want to go for something, just do it. Like, you never know what's gonna happen. Sometimes it may turn out bad. Sometimes it may turn out good. But like, you never know if it's gonna turn out good. And I think for me, boarding was that good. It turned out good. Because, like, I wouldn't have the life experiences that I have right now if I didn't join boarding. I wouldn't have the friends I have, like, the quote-unquote mentorship, or, like, the big sister, like, people in boarding. I wouldn't have met them or had those experiences if it weren't for living in boarding. And so I feel like you just kind of go for it. Like, there will be things you won't expect, you won't be prepared for, but there are also people there to prepare you and help you along the way.
I love that, Angel. I think that's great advice. You know, you're never ready, and it's true. It doesn't really matter what life event it is. You're never 100% ready. Sometimes you just have to leap, and perfect, because our prefect model is leap with love this year. Do you have anything to add, Kaitlyn or Arham, about why students should consider boarding, or how they might know they're ready or not ready?
I think Angel did a pretty good job at summing it up, but I think you really want to emphasize the point that boarding itself altogether is a family. And I honestly would not, I consider Arham and Angel and everyone in boarding my sisters. And I feel like I wouldn't have the experience or the opportunity to get to know these people that I will be friends with for the rest of my life. And I think that that's something that we don't understand, is that when you live with someone and you care for them as much as we care about each other, that relationship doesn't go away. That sticks with you for life.
I hear it in our alum reunions when people introduce me. And I've told the story a few times because it really resonates with me, but I don't think I've said it on the podcast yet. But meeting with alums and hearing them say, like, introduce me and say, oh, this is Arham. You know, we met in boarding in grade 7. She's the godmother of my children. Or, you know, we spend every Thanksgiving together. We have for the last 30 years. I mean, it's incredible to hear those stories. Those are regular stories you hear about classmates. So it's really special. Arham, do you want to add anything to that?
I guess I feel like I 100% agree with Angel. I feel like with boarding, you kind of aren't ready to go to boarding. I mean, I feel like that's the whole point, because boarding gets you ready for life. Like, you are so much in boarding, and I feel like if you have the chance to go to boarding, I would take it. Like, I would always go to boarding no matter like what happens or anything, because I've just had so many amazing experiences, connected with so many amazing people, and I just think like boarding is like the best thing happening to me. Like, I'm going to remember my boarding experiences forever, I feel like.
I love that so much. That's the whole reason, it's the whole purpose to do this program. So of course I love hearing that. And I think it connects so well to what you were saying so eloquently earlier, Arham, is how you grow in boarding, and how that growth that you experience, you can't get that in other ways at this age. So it's pretty incredible to hear how you've all grown and developed. And even in just the time that I've known you, I've seen you all grow and mature. It's pretty special. Okay, we're at the part of the podcast where I ask you some rapid fire questions. Kaitlyn, I know this is going to cause you stress. It's okay. You can do it. Okay, are you ready, guys? You have 3 seconds to answer the question, or you have to leave my house.
Oh,
No, that's a joke. Okay, so first question. Kaitlyn, what song are you currently playing on repeat?
Okay, so I'm kind of still mourning the loss of summer right now. Like, I really wish that I'm still warm outside. So my music is kind of reflecting that right now. I'm listening to a lot of country, so
Love it.
particularly Zach Bryan. So I'd probably say maybe like 28 or 9 Ball I've been listening to a lot.
Beautiful, thank you. Arham, what's a guilty pleasure that you will never give up?
eating a bulldog carbonara. It's my favorite thing ever, and I have it almost every night. I know it's really
is
bad.
it?
Bulldog carbonara. It's like ramen.
Oh, with carbonara sauce in ramen noodles?
It's cheese and roasting.
Yeah, right. I've never tried it, but I'm gonna make you give me some.
I'd
Try it. I trust you. Angel, if you could switch lives with one person for a day, who would it be?
Okay, my funny answer would be a Starbucks for because how do you deal with the amount of Branksome students that come into Starbucks daily? And then my
You want to be a Starbucks worker? Is that what you said?
yeah.
That would be so fun. That would be really fun.
And then my serious answer would be like maybe someone who works with the UN or something like that, because like you get to talk to other people from different countries and like you get to travel the world, and I think that's really cool.
Because it is really cool. But earlier I was like, hey, I might ask you this. You had a very different answer. Sharon, it's a good one.
Okay,
Give us your real self answer, Angel.
my third answer would be SZA, like the celebrity singer.
Yeah.
And I just think it's like I love music. Like music is a really big thing for me, and so just like being able to go on tour and like meeting all these other famous singers and like just getting to do something you really love, I think that's really cool.
I love it. You want to experience that celebrity life. I love that answer because it's real and because we all want that for a day and probably not more than a day. It has been so awesome to have you guys here. You mean so much to me, and I'm grateful that you take some time to come here in my home and be with me for some time. So thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, I'm so excited to introduce you to two more of our fabulous Branksome Boarders. We wanted to include as many students as we could today in the podcast, so we kind of have like a round one and a round two. This is round two. So I would love for you to take a moment, introduce yourself. What's your name? Where have you come from? And how long have you been in boarding at Branksome Hall?
Okay. Hi, I'm Titoluwa. I'm in grade 11, and this is my third year at Branksome, and I live in Alberta.
An experienced boarder. Okay, fantastic.
Hi, my name is Yuning. I'm from Beijing, China, and this is actually my first year at Branksome and boarding.
Oh, I love that. We're so glad that you're here, and we have lots in common because I'm not from Beijing, but was there 11 years. So part of me feels like I'm from Beijing. I would really like to hear about, I think from you first, Titoluwa, because you've been here a little bit longer than Yuning has. You've been here for 3 years. And how has Branksome boarding shaped you? How has it played a part in who you are becoming and who you become?
Yeah, good question. So I'd say that boarding has given me a lot of independence that I wouldn't have had otherwise, because like living away from my parents in a house full of 30 other people, that's a really unique experience that I get to have. And I'm waking up myself up every day. I set my alarm, I do my own laundry, and I'm doing all these things that I'm learning to do at such an early age. And I see a lot of independence and also resilience, I'd say, because like, I have someone who deals with a lot of homesickness. I miss my house, I miss my family, my parents. And I'm able to work through that in boarding because I have an amazing community surrounding me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm able to be resilient and like bounce back if I feel so homesick. So yeah.
I love that. And I think people who are listening who might be considering boarding or who really, or maybe they're members of the Branksome community already and they don't know much about boarding students, how do you handle that? Like, I'm imagining coming in as a new student, I've got some homesickness, you've grown in this way, but how? What did you do to help yourself through those moments? Because that could be really tough.
Yeah, I'd say it can be tough, especially like if you have like family formal. It's always hard, like if you have those events and everyone's parents are there, but it's okay. But I'd say the easiest part is just talking about it. Like I love talking about family. I always talk about Alberta any chance I can, any chance I get.
Proud
And-
Albertan.
Yeah, I really am. That's my favorite place. But it's always good to just communicate with others, and we have lots of support systems at Branksome and in boarding itself. And it's just like nice to share experiences, talk about your home. And then I also call my parents like every day. It's like definitely just having that. We have the opportunity to call your parents, and like it's okay to have that time with them. So I'm communicating with them even if it is over my phone.
I hear so much from our boarding community about how it feels like a family.
Yeah.
And of course, the 3 students we just spoke to talked a lot about that. Does that help, or it
Yes.
must help? How
Yeah.
long does it take for you to feel that family feeling to really support you in homesickness for your blood family, as our previous guests called it?
It was so quick. Like it was honestly so quick. Like first week of orientation, we already clicked so fast with the whole boarding community. And it felt like a family, honestly, from day one, I'd say. Like my very first dinner, I'll never forget. In the WC, I was like, wow, so much building space, so many people. But we sat at that table and I introduced myself, and it just started from there. And honestly, that's what helps me go through every day without my parents, is that I have this community to fall back on, and it started right from day one.
And Titoluwa, as soon as I met you, I felt the same way about you, because you have such an open heart, such a pure energy, such a good energy. So I can see that coming in, that might click for you.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you must know students in boarding who maybe are a little bit more introverted, or maybe that doesn't come as easily to them. And I know that you are in a big sister role for a lot of them. How does it feel for them? Or can you talk a little bit about, if you're a student that's not as outgoing as Titoluwa is, how do you overcome that? Because I know that you've helped some students get them.
I'd say that just having like shared hobbies or shared experiences is nice. Like, for example, we have a lot of piano players in boarding, and we have a music room, which is always very nice to hear people playing.
And now you're a player.
Oh yes, that's true.
So fun.
She's insane.
Right, she's amazing.
And so that, even something as like music,
Right.
if you hear one of the new students playing their piano, you can like go in, chat to them about it. Like, I've had a duet with Angel once, and she's much better than I am, but
I just tried to get her to play my piano.
Really?
And she was like, no, I'm good. But I'm going to get her on our movie night.
yeah, oh yes, she's so good.
Yeah, I want to hear her.
So stuff like that, just
So
little
shared
things.
interests, shared hobbies.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like that, and that brings people together. I'd say the easiest. Even if you're not the most outgoing, you can. It's, as long as you have something in common, it starts from there.
I think that's really good advice, and it makes good sense. And I see our boarders, whether they're, experienced or new, just kind of diving in every school year. It seems everyone finds their place. And we have a new boarder with us, Yuning. Yuning, I would love to hear a little bit from you. I'd love to hear, you've been here now for, I guess, 5 weeks?
Yeah, like a bit more than a month.
A bit more than a month.
Yeah.
So you're like 4-ish, 5 weeks. What advice might you have to someone coming in brand new to boarding, or someone who might be considering coming to boarding next year? What advice do you have? Because you've just experienced this, and you're actually experiencing it in real time right now.
Yeah. So for me, when I just came, I was homesick. I was maybe a little sad at times, but like the activities that boarding prepared for us, the orientation week, it just allowed me to open up. It allowed me to look forward to what is going to happen each day, and like the people that I would connect with. So if you're thinking that you might be afraid to be away from home, away from your parents, and just away from like something that you're familiar to, don't worry about that, because being at Branksome Boarding, you will find your own community here that feels exactly like family to you as well.
Yeah.
So you're building another new family here that you just feel so comfortable with.
I remember talking to you, you'd been here for like 72 hours. And I was like, how are you doing? Because I met you the first day you moved in.
Yeah.
And then it was like 3 days later, I'm like, how are you doing? It's a lot to be new. And you just seemed like you genuinely folded into the community very easily. Although I'm sure you were making it look easier than it was. What were some of the challenges? You mentioned a bit of homesickness. What were some other challenges that you might have faced in those initial weeks?
I feel like a challenge might have been getting used to having a roommate, which is like definitely something new for me. But she's so nice and genuine, and we just get along so well. And eventually, I just feel like she's also a part of my family, and that we share so many different experiences together. And I feel like I'm looking forward to growing that relationship.
I think it's fantastic. And we just heard from our last group of students that, some of their roommates are their sisters, their besties who they know will be in their lives for the rest of time, which is really, really special. I think people have an idea of boarding sometimes. And if they've never been a boarding student, there are things that they just can't know. What do you think would really surprise people to learn about boarding life?
Okay, well, I would say that it is so free. Like, we are not as restricted as some people might think. Like,
The last two mentioned that.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that. Tell
yes.
us more.
like people are like, oh, like your parents took you off to boarding school. Like, no, I'm okay, guys. Like,
I had a choice in this.
yes, truly, I did. I want to come here. I want to be here. And we have a lot of freedom, and it's nice because we have like the BA of the boarding advisors. And all you do is just check in with them and communicate with them, and you're good to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
They won't like chain you to the house. Like you're able to like go out if you need, and like on the weekdays before dinner you can get Starbucks if you want, and that's really nice. Like we still, because it's like you're supposed to be your home away from home, and I still feel like the same way I do it. My parents would want me to communicate with them where I'm going and stuff like that. Same with the BA. So it's very much similar to living at home. It's just different environment.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I go over at night because I know Maggie's far more popular than I am. Maggie's my dog for our listeners. I'll come over and say, who wants to go for a walk? No one's there. I'm like, where is everyone? Like, oh, these three are gone to Starbucks. These three went for a run. These two are at the gym. These ones are in the pool. Like everyone's just scattered. And it's rare to find everyone at the house at the same time.
You're still able to do like whatever you want to do. Like for me, I want to do volleyball maybe on Sundays, and I'm able to do that. And you're still able to have like a life that's outside of school, even if you live on campus. So I think that's a big.
Is there anything else, Yuning, that maybe you think people have a misconception about boarding, and now that you're here, you're like, oh no, this is different, or?
I feel like similar to what Titoluwa said, like I was also checking the website like before I came. I read it over so many times about the handbooks and things, and then was like,
So diligent.
Yeah, like there's like a schedule for when we have to be out of the house or like when lights out are. But like now that I'm here, it really just depends on you. Like it depends on your own schedule, your own preference, your own routine, and the BAs will respect it as long as you communicate with them. So
I think it's fantastic. I see our boarders all over Toronto, different stores on the weekends. Everyone's just living their best life. But I love that it's also structured enough that you have that time in boarding that you are expected to be doing your schoolwork. And of course, there's times where we really need our boarders to make sure we're getting a rest and all of that. But you feel like it's a good balance.
Yeah, like for example, during dinner time, we all come together to the AWC dining hall and we all share each other's days with your friends and as a community. So like I love that sense of community here.
I love that. What do you wish more people knew about your life as a boarder or boarding life in general?
I would say that I wish they knew that we honestly do feel like a family, and like it's an extension of my family, and that we have so much fun. Like Jenny, you were always like, what is boarding like? Like how do you live like that? But like no, it's
you guys have the most fun on this campus.
Yeah, like you will see like all those posts of us, like we're smiling for real. It's not. No, we're not. And like, even on the weekends, we have so many weekend events. Like we had puppy yoga, which was so fun, and like art making and stuff like that. People always come in and they go on the best trips and stuff. And that's also super fun that we have so many opportunities that boarding gives us just by being on campus in downtown Toronto, which not a lot of people get to experience.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Like every day, I'm always, like even yesterday, we had the Victoria's Secret fashion show, like a watch party. And then we got crumble. Like, isn't that the best thing ever?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So fun.
Yeah. One of my favorite memories from boarding last year, I forget which musical we went to go see. We went to go see a musical, and it was kind of snowing outside. We would take in the subway, so we were walking up. And a lot of our boarding students were up ahead of me, and it was amazing. You'd see like 3 girls holding hands, kind of skipping through the snow, a couple with their arms around each other, has their own chili, and then they change. Like someone who'd been holding hands was holding hands with someone else, linking arms with a different student, and I just thought, wow, it's just such a beautiful community of people who genuinely care for each other, and I think that's what we all want out of life.
Yeah.
What about you, Yuning? Do you think there's anything that you really wish people knew that maybe they don't know about boarding?
I think for boarding, it's like everybody comes from different backgrounds, different places, and that like everybody comes together into one community, and that we get to know so many more new people that like you might not get a chance to know if you were not in boarding. So I think it's just amazing. And also like for example, Titoluwa is in grade 11, but I'm able to build like a connection with her because
when you might not normally.
Yeah.
What about our students who are commuting like an hour every day? You're like, my commute's 1 minute.
Yeah. Everyone's so jealous of us. Like I even get to take commute time completely out of my day. Like I have that extra hours of when someone might tell me this way to do my work, and it's great. It's great.
We're just taking a nap or maybe sleeping in a little bit lots of times.
We need that. You need all the rest you can get. Titoluwa, your sister was also in boarding?
Yeah.
Is that right? But it was before my time.
Yeah.
Did you overlap in boarding with her?
No, we did.
That would be
cool, right? But one thing that our really 5 grades apart, so our reunions are together.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Which
Oh, I
I
love that. I love that you guys have already thought about that.
Yeah.
I think so. It's really a family affair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Were your parents boarding students?
No.
So this is new for your family.
Yeah, so like my brother went to UCC, and
Right.
yeah, my sister went to Branksome, and she loved it. She was a boarding prefect too in
Right.
my last year, and she like I remember when she'd come back home for breaks, and she'd like talk about it nonstop, like boarding, like the best stories, and I was like, I want to come here, guys. Like when it was my turn, so
Typical little sister.
Yeah.
When is it my turn?
I was so jealous. Oh my gosh! And then now that I'm here, it's like it's just like she described all her stories. She had the best time with all the events and stuff, and she said it was like a magical place, and I feel that too.
I feel it too.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying with the group that was just in before you, when I came to Branksome, boarding is the place where I felt at home immediately. And just embraced me, embraced my family. Even though our girls are not technically in boarding, I feel like they are because we're always we're always at dinner on campus, or you guys are always here. It's awesome. So thank you so much, and I'm just so happy that you came today, spend some time with us, to share about the real story of boarding, to kind of demystify and give more insight into what that's like. As we end the podcast, I'm sure you've listened to every episode, right?
Every single one.
That was a joke. But we close with rapid fire questions. So I have a couple of rapid fire questions for you. Titoluwa, I'm going to go to yours first. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Okay. I'd say the best piece of advice I've ever received is to be yourself. Just to be yourself in any situation possible. It's never good to put on a different personality or act out differently the way that you would. It's always good to just be yourself in any situation because it'll pay off in the end.
I couldn't agree more. Love that.
Yeah.
Yuning, you're new to boarding, and soon you'll be an experienced boarder, and eventually you'll leave the boarding program. What do you want to be remembered for?
I think I want to be remembered for being caring, energetic, and fun.
I have no doubt. I was looking forward to this podcast, to have you all here and have you over and get to chat with you about boarding. Thank you so much. It's a busy time of year. I'm so grateful for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. So good to have you here. I also want to thank all of our listeners and all of our viewers. It's so wonderful to have you back with us for season 2 of the Principal Podcast. We thank you all for watching and for listening, and we can't wait to have you back next time for episode 3. Bye for now.